Oh, hello there, Site-42 staff, as well as those of you from the greater SCP Foundation community. And welcome to another Coffee Break with Dr. Sherman, a subsidiary of the Anomalous broadcast for Site-42. As always, I am Dr. Theron Sherman, Site Director here at Site-42 of the SCP Foundation. And as I have done for the last 9 months and counting, because the daily streak remains strong, I am here to open my office door to you, the SCP Foundation staff, to answer your burning questions about this dark and mysterious place of employment we call the SCP Foundation. So whether you have questions about the anomalies we contain, the staff that contain them, the groups of interest who try to stop us from containing them, or hypothetical containment procedures about anomalies that fall outside of the SCP Foundation's purview, perhaps they're from a different multiverse or pataphysical narrative level, i.e. fandom. Either way, we are here for the next 90 minutes because, as my stream subject states, I am here for a short time today to fulfill the streak, to fulfill my obligation to you, the Foundation staff, but today is a very auspicious day. Today, the newest book in my favorite non-SCP related book series, The Dresden Files, not sponsored, dropped. And you better believe I'm going to spend the rest of my day on the couch with the audiobook playing, with snacks and video games that do not require my brain in the background. Sometimes you need a little bit of me time. And this is that. So, new book. This will be how we're doing it this week while I'm getting through that new book. Very excited. Obviously, we are a reading fandom, so I expect you guys to be reading as well. If not the SCP database, then your own fictional books. Dr. Frogman asks, Sherm, should I read the Dresden Files? Dr. Frogman. A wizard private eye in Chicago. You're a Murphy Law fan. I know that about you. I think so. I think you might enjoy these books. Again, not sponsored. Just wizards and fae folk and all sorts. Everything's real. Vampires are real. Ghouls are real. Everything's real in the Dresden Files. Santa Claus is real in the Dresden Files. It's why I was into the Dresden Files before getting into SCP. And, an everything's real magic fandom where everything's out there going crazy and you have to deal with it somehow? Hell, yeah. Charlie, are you coming to say hi? Hello, Charlie. Woo! Again, hoppy. Very hoppy today. Charlie is here to say hello. She just got her shots, so be nice to her. Aoki and Eclipse Artist, it is Charlie without the E, as in our musical sensation XCX related. This is Charlie without the E. Charlie has just gotten her shots. She is doing well. She is a happy little energetic puppo. Yes, we are going to have to get you chipped soon, yes. Alright, she does not like being in the booth because I have a fan to keep me cool, and she's a very tiny baby. All right, I have shown you the dog. I've told you why today's streak is going to be small. Allow me to go wash my hands because I, even when taking allergy pills, am still allergic to pets. Just less so. So, Dr. Chair, keep them entertained. All right, Dr. Chair, you are relieved. All right. First of all, some housekeeping. Dr. Optimus, thank you for being our #1, first, most punctual member of the Containment Hazard Assessment Team. Congratulations on being first chatter. Meanwhile, Amber, Dr. Frogman, Notorious Gaming, Titanborn, Bombus ADHD, Senior Researcher Alex, Silent Follower, Anna Carson. Where were we? Kitty Fly, Sleep Deprived Dragon of the Night, Aoki, Foxpax and Co., Night Synth Skyro, Ratty Rusty. Rat, good. Long time no see, hope you're doing well. Everyone who I just named, thank you for being here punctually, and thank you for being members of Site42. We appreciate your membership and your service. Furthermore, Renegade Gaming, Rock and Roll, Tristan, Agatha, and Roar Caution. Thank you for being here punctually, and thank you for being here just for being you today. Now, Night Synth Skyro, thank you for your 2 months as a level 1 researcher here at Site42. We appreciate your membership and your service. The streak shall keep going. Soon it'll be a year. Yeah, we are less than 3 months to a year of the streak. Mark your calendars. April 14th was the day we started the streak, and it remains strong. Can we make it to April 14th? You're damn right we can. There's no question. We're going to rock this thing. The streak remains strong. Meanwhile, Notorious Gaming, thank you for your first donation to today's stream, as well as being a member. Make sure to grab yourself some Pocky on your way past the commissary. Congrats on 9 months of streak, Doc. Well, thank you very much, Notorious Gaming. The streak remains strong. We're all in this together. I mean, you guys are supporting me who's doing the streak. Sometimes some of you disappear for a couple of weeks, but you always come back. You're like a certain researcher Afton in that way. Any streak celebration plans for the 14th? Right now, I do believe, based on consensus of the Containment Hazard Assessment Team, i.e. chat, that the anniversary stream will involve the announcement of a new Dr. Sherman marketable plushie. I believe that is what we discussed a couple months ago. So I'm currently working in the behind the scenes to facilitate such a thing. Will the plushie be screaming internally? Tarleton Fox, I do believe that maybe we adjust the eyes on this version of the plushie so it looks a little more stressed out. Maybe this is from a universe where we did not make the tree scream yet. SCP-096 versus SCP-272, and someone saw 096's face. Well, Intern Lockjaw, I do not know what SCP-272 is off the top of my head, but let's take a look at the database and see what we find. Always a good opportunity to investigate another anomaly. Oh! An old iron nail is the code name. All right. So the old iron nail locks a person to, if you nail the shadow of a person to the ground, they are now trapped near that nail. They cannot move. So, the answer to your question is that if we did this to 096, it would not think staying near the nail seems fair because it does not have that level of sapience. Instead, 096 would go straight to whoever saw it, regardless, and if the nail were inserted into a body part of some sort, that body part would likely be ripped off, I would assume. But because we don't have testing logs for 096, I do not have word of any crossover test with this anomaly, unfortunately. But escape by digging, objects destructibility. I do believe we have a I'm trying to find a test that will justify in the 272 logs. Nail was dropped, embedded itself. To our data expunge, cleanup team. Multiple subjects. Subject escape by digging. Object's destructibility. Rapid lighting shifts. Subject can be withheld from object via restraints, barriers. Light rays very rapidly. Subject restrained with chains attached to their feet. Yeah, we have data expunged, subject expires. It sounds like something bad is happening to anomalies that are to D-class that are pulled from their shadow by the old nail. I wonder if being pulled from your shadow has anything to do with being separated from your soul via that certain series of books and films and television series of varying quality. Anyways, unfortunately we don't have enough data on that, but I'm assuming that either 096 would lose a limb or whatever the expungement is in those logs, that is what would take place. Charlie 10 Pro, thank you for your first donation to today's stream. Grab yourself a chicken salad on your way past the commissary. Is there an SCP that can cure that common cold? Totally not ill, but I might be. Well, obviously SCP-500 can cure anything, but we're not going to requisition you one of those. Obviously the Lovecraftian Locket, SCP-427, could heal you, but then you would use some of the limited time you're allowed to use that before turning into a flesh monster. I would highly recommend saving that limited time for something a little more dire than a common cold. Now, let's see, SCP database chicken soup, 348. Enjoyed the meal, reminds me of parents cooking. When in the presence of an individual with a minor ailment or injury, 348, the gift from dad, so to speak, will fill with soup. While the ingredients present within the soups produced by 348 vary, young subjects have consistently stated they enjoyed the meal, sometimes stating it reminds them of their parents' cooking. Children who eat from it several times express a feeling of contentment. So it seems like this is only working for children. Individuals between the ages of 4 and 18. So it does not seem like adults function with 348. You know what I'll do for you, though? I will requisition for you a iteration of SCP-3764 codename A Gift from a Friend, which is a burlap sack that automatically spawns a loaf of bread. And this bread is known for increasing morale and feelings in general in patients who eat them. So, perhaps this loaf of bread will increase it won't cure the cold, but it'll make you feel much better having had the cold. And yes, you are welcome to, I will have this delivered to your site, to your dormitory with bread soon. Affleck, thank you for your first donation of today's stream as well as being a member. Grab yourself a pastrami on rye on your way past the commissary. Fun fact, that nail was used with strobe lights in an attempt to decommission 682. Interesting. Why don't we take a quick look at the termination log then and see how it survived it? Because of course it survived it, that's all 682 does. But I would be interested in the results. Termination test record. 682 is released into enclosure amidst a circular array of 32,000 watt stadium lights, one of which is switched on. 272 is dropped onto 682's shadow and embeds itself in the reinforced concrete as expected. 682 quickly discovers that it's trapped by 272's presence in its shadow and starts to attack 272. 682 then stops midway through its attack, examines 272 closely, bellows an incomprehensible string of words, and slowly backs away from 272. All 30 stadium lights are then switched on and off in a random stroboscopic disco pattern at 4 Hz. 682 is forcibly hurled around the enclosure in random directions in accordance with the stroboscopic pattern and sustains heavy damage. After 55 minutes of this process, more than 95% of 682's epidermis has been abraded away, its anterior left limb has been severed, 63 of its teeth have been broken out of its jaw, and its skull has been fractured to the point that both of its eyeballs have been dislodged from their sockets. Yeesh. Beat the hell out of that thing. At this point, 682's exposed subdermal tissue begins to luminesce. The luminescence rapidly increases until it is brighter than the stadium lights, which eliminates 682's shadow entirely. 682 then collapses and is no longer affected by the stroboscopic pattern. 682 continues luminescing for 48 hours, remaining immobile for the duration. D-Class personnel who recovered 272 from the enclosure were not attacked, but sustained permanent retinal damage from 682's luminescence despite wearing eye shields. After 48 hours, 682 resumes normal activity. Note, how did 682 know not to attack 272? Did it recognize the artifact? Was it able to read the glyphs carved into 272's surface? If 682 is literate, is it vulnerable to textual mimetic kill agents? Suggested methods for viability study are welcome. So there we go. Another instance of 682 being 682. What would you do with Shrek? Well, intern Guy, Shrek is an ogre, but while strong, and perhaps with a mimetic infect to induce fear, because people are much more afraid of that ogre than typical of ogres we are familiar with, I would imagine that a standard humanoid containment cell, maybe a reinforced humanoid containment cell, could do the job. I do not imagine that it requires that much more containment. It's just an ogre. Hey, Dr. Sherman, have you had any personal encounters with the Serpent's Hand? Also, I know the Serpent's Hand can be uncooperative at times, but have they ever directly assisted the Foundation? So number one, I am well acquainted with the Serpent's Hand. I have infiltrated the library several times on searches for information, but they keep moving the portals, so I can't get in, and they see through my devious and excellently crafted disguises. So I have had trouble getting in as of late, but I'll figure out a way back in. That said, obviously the Serpent's Hand doesn't like us very much, the so-called jailers, and so they would not work with us unless it was some sort of dire scenario. And when I say dire, I mean dire, because one thing people don't realize about the Serpent's Hand, and I'm going to go to a quote from our Discord moderator, Nagiros, for this, because it was a great quote. And let me see if I can find it. So, people mostly generally believe that those hippies at the Serpent's Hand are pro-anomaly rights, pro-keeping anomalies out of containment, using anomalies to better humanity, etc., etc. That is the standard line when referring to the Serpent's Hand and their morality. But you have to go one step further, which is, as Nagiros states in discussion, this is obviously Nagiros' headcanon, but I like it, so I'm integrating it a little bit into my lore. This is entirely a personal preference, but I find the Serpent's Hand to be much more engaging when they present a vision of the future, which is ostensibly scary and strange, in the sense that it deprioritizes humanity. There are so many things which exist beyond the realm of the veil, and a world oriented with all that in mind would look completely alien to us now. That would obviously include using anomalies to benefit humanity, but also the definition of humanity would blur as a result. The whole conflict between the Foundation and the Hand is cloaked in biblical allegory anyways, so I think this interpretation does more with that. So I find that to be a very interesting way to look at it, which is, yes, we're not morally opposed to the Serpent's Hand because they want to help humanity. We want to help humanity by maintaining normalcy. They want to help humanity by upending normalcy by such a degree that we would not even recognize the world that the Serpent's Hand creates. Which, speaking of reality right now, all of this generative AI and artificial intelligence talk and the singularity that the tech billionaires in Silicon Valley are trying to push forward, one thing they don't tell you a lot of is that part of their plan is to just delete humanity in the first place. The tech oligarchs believe that they will be soon able to upload their consciousness to AIs, that everyone will be replaced with robots, and that humanity as a species is just an egg shell that is forming the sentient AI robot future, at which point the eggshell gets discarded. So keep an eye on that, because when they say in the future, AI will make it so humans don't need to work anymore, it's because there won't be humans anymore. They just don't say that quiet part out loud. But it's in their books. You can read this. Remember, head of Palantir, the dangerous surveillance state-associated corporation in real life, in an interview was asked, do you think humanity could continue, or should they go extinct? And he really struggled with his answer of should humanity go extinct or not. So keep an eye on that, because this AI future is hurtling at us because the rich bitches are shoving it down our throats, and it's a little bit of a death cult, much like anyways, long story short, the Serpent's Hand, those damn hippies, can bite it. We are maintaining normalcy here at the Foundation. This is the way. Terragol, thank you for your first donation to today's stream, as well as being a member. Grab yourself a slice of cherry pie on your way past the commissary with a black coffee. Serpent's Hand, let the SCP run free. Me, oh great idea, let the murder monsters go, I say, sarcastically. Yeah, I agree. Tech company saying, at long last we have created the Torment Nexus from classic sci-fi novel. Don't create the Torment Nexus. Yes, thank you, Amber, for this literal case of what's going on in real life. Oh, it's supposed to be a joke. It's supposed to be a joke. So, the oligarchs are into Church of the Broken God type shit. You're damn right, 369 Destroyer, that is basically what they're going for. Which is why the Foundation needs to stop them. Hey, can you explain the MTF people? Well, you see, intern Kojai, when someone feels that the gender they were born with is not the gender they should be, they go through a transition, and MTF, male to female transition, is one aspect of that. Oh, you're talking about, yes, Mobile Task Force. I see. Different MTF. Lol. So, I don't know what much there is to explain. They are the soldiers of the Foundation that travel in the field, as opposed to our stationary task forces or security forces that stay on site. So a mobile task force is a task force that is mobile, and often they have certain extra specializations, such as the Maz Hatters, who handle biohazards, the White Rabbits, who handle liminal spaces, the Mole Rats, who handle tunnels and cave systems. And so, yes, you can go to the page on the SCP database called, typo. You can go to the page called Mobile Task Forces on the database, and it will show you a litany of the numerous task forces we have on staff, as well as a brief summary of their specialization and what anomalies and tales they are involved with. And so any mobile task force you are particularly interested in, you can go to that page to look up what stories they're in and how that went for them. What would happen if the Allied Master Computer and SCP-079 meet? That's a team-up I don't want to imagine. But not the hot dog eating contest ratings. You are correct, Amber Chaos. The Mobile Task Force page on the database is severely lacking in Mobile Task Force hot dog eating contest rankings, which is why you have to come to Site 42 Streams for that important intel. Oh, hello, Drowsy. It has been a while. How are you doing? Hope you've been well. America, thank you for your first donation to today's stream, as well as being a member. Grab yourself a chocolate orange on your way past the commissary. And since you didn't send a message for your donation, simply thank you for your generosity. Ice is on my block right now. Well, Researcher Drowsy, be careful. Take care of yourself, stay safe, because those SCP-2617 ice soldiers are all over the place right now. It is disgusting that someone found a way to send them out, and they are causing a lot of undue harm, so stay safe and fuck ice. SCP-2617 bastards. Dr. Sherman, would the Time Lords and TARDIS itself be considered SCPs? If they were, would they be considered Ticonderoga or Apollyon? Intern Fafa Man, neither. They are simply Keter-class anomalies that need to be contained. There's nothing to say that they're Ticonderoga, meaning there's a benefit to holding them, and that they can't be contained. And Apollyon would assume that they are ending the world, and cannot be contained. Both of which are false, because we have been able to contain them. They have been contained. Now that Doctor is a lot harder to contain, even the ass pulls of plot armor. But the Time Lords were locked in a time containment lock for a very long time. So, if we can just get the Doctor in with that, problem solved! We just gotta make it happen. We're working on the tech. Oh, you are correct, Drowsy. The like count has crested the viewer count, which means that the YouTube algorithm is going to bring us more people who will be confused about what the SCP Foundation is, but they will be also intrigued. And that is how we hook people into helping us support the SCP Wiki and its authors, artists, animators, game devs, filmmakers, merch makers, etc. So thank you for your service, Mobile Task Force Psi-42, codename Signal Boosters, for hitting the like button on this stream and helping us to bring more people into the fold. I figured out your anomaly, Doc. You showed us clearly in 2 shorts already, but the durability to survive Dr. Gerald, fourth wall discussions with your author, and the dedication to bits, you're a tune. A tune? You think I am a tune? Some sort of loony tune? A balderdash? Cockababy, poppycock. I wonder why both of those words for silly things have the word cock in it. Cockababy, poppycock. Interesting. I'm going to have to look up etymology on how those happened. They must be funny rooster things? Huh. Either way, I can't imagine that. I'll have to talk to some researchers about this in the tune department. Do you think the Foundation will expand to the Backrooms and work with Meg? Intern Horror Dude. I do not believe so, if only because the Async Corporation is being a bunch of bags of dicks, keeping us from interacting with the Backrooms at all. They're bogarting the whole anomaly. Which you'd think, since you could kind of no-clip from anywhere on Earth, we'd have the opportunity to play with it. But no, they're just really jerks about it. So, one day, they will figure out that they are not the people in charge and they'll let us work on it. But for now, we're just waiting for them to wear themselves out. Balderdash. Well, yes, Mr. Tao McCauley. I say Balderdash. Also, good to see you. Haven't seen you in a while. Hope you've been well. Sir, what is your favorite SCP-inspired movie/series? Well, if I'm going to go with pure SCP, things that actually use the SCP IP instead of doing a knockoff situation, I think my favorite live-action filmed SCP series /film, I'm gonna go with There Is No Anti-Memetics Division by Andrea Joshua Asnikar. That one just looks fantastic. I would watch a whole television series of that, to be sure. Now, of course, we can't go without shouting out other SCP live-action creators we appreciate and collaborate with, such as Keter Labs and their SCP Containment Breach the movie, or Dark Math Films and their pilot episode of their series SCP Academy, all located here on YouTube. Now, if I had to leave the the SCP space and go into knockoffs, then it's a tie between the movie Cabin in the Woods, which, fantastic movie even if it's not SCP, or go with Control, being that is a hell of a fun game, and the first time I played Control after being an SCP fan for several years, walking through the halls of the oldest house instilled a sense of nostalgia for a place I had never been, which was a very strange feeling. Overlord was a great short. Ah, yes, Mr. Tao. Of course, Overlord and Dollhouse are pretty darn good by Evan Royalty here on YouTube. I always They're not my favorite flavor because I'm not so much into the tactical side that those films tend to like focus on, but they are still well made, and so they are still good. And they are very popular in the fandom, so people enjoy that. Dr. Nightfor, thank you for your first donation to today's stream as well as being a member. Grab yourself a chicory coffee on your way past the commissary. Hello, Dr. Sherman. I haven't seen you in a while due to our communicator has been acting up lately. This will be the last communication for a while. Oh, well, get that fixed. Communication is an important aspect of what we do here at the Foundation. We've got to keep information going around. But, yeah, we will see you when we see you. Take care. Kitty Fly, thank you for your first donation of today's stream as well as being a member. Grab yourself a handful of marshmallows on your way past the commissary. Do you ever get recognized IRL by fans? So the only place I have been recognized IRL by fans is at MetroCon Tampa, which is an anime video game convention. And when I was there, I got recognized a whole bunch. But I have yet to be recognized on the street, except for one time when an SCP, I believe, author was at a literature convention nearby my literal day job place of work and was walking down the street I work on to get a sandwich and happened to walk by the dance studio I work at, looked in the door and just yelled, "Sherman!" That was a confusing moment. But other than that, I do not much get recognized in public day to day yet. I mean, it may happen sometime, but not yet. Voidster! Hey! Voidster, thank you for your first donation to today's stream and for popping in to say hello. Grab yourself a nice cool glass of melonade on your way past the commissary. Hi, really glad people like the animation. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I wasn't gonna do this, but since Voidster has decided to join us, I just want to point out, where is it? I can do it here. Surprise, surprise, this stream is now sponsored. The sponsored alarm is on. Whoop, 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 whoop. We are sponsored. And we are sponsored because we are sponsoring. As I always tell you, the SCP Foundation wants more and more high quality SCP content in the world. SCP films, SCP games, SCP shows and animated series. And if it's not getting done fast enough, then I'll do it myself. And so we have collaborated and sponsored Voidster Animations to join in us by animating some of our previous SCP shorts. This allows us to pay and support Voidster Animations while hopefully recouping our investment through YouTube, meaning we've actually created an infinite money glitch with the YouTube ad revenue algorithm, which hopefully means we can use that and grow that buffer to get more and bigger projects off the ground ourselves. So, first and foremost, listed today, allow me to show you the newest release. This is the short we started with a couple years ago. I'll let it play twice. And see now, that's charming. I found someone's nice little video. I said it was a D class interacting with 3930 and then pretend to take notes. This is a great way to make duets on TikTok and YouTube shorts. But now, in the hands of Voidster Animations, Does that not look fantastic? The detail! I'm going back in. Because look at Pluglet. Pluglet looks great. The trees in the back, the stars in the sky, the grass, the camera motion. The sign looks great, a little distressed. This is high quality animation. Voidster, you take that back right now. Dr. Sherman watched my OC and die and did nothing. I took copious notes on the anomalous interaction, which is my job. I did my job. My job wasn't to save your OC. It was to take notes, which I did. Thank you. Thank you. And so, we are sponsoring Voidster Animations in hope that financial backing helps them to practice and perfect their art, increase their skill, and eventually work on their own SCP Foundation animated series, which they have planned on. So make sure you subscribe to Voidster Animations to help support their progress. As well, go to that short, that animated short on our channel, and make sure to comment on it and like on it, because the more views, the more engagement, the more comments it gets, the more likely we are to recoup the investment and create that little infinite money glitch. So we thank you for your support for myself, as well as Voidster Animations, as we try to bring more high-quality SCP Foundation content to the people, one way or another. I've been wanting to make an SCP-5392, codename Voyage of the Tachyon Express, low-budget film for a while, but have too many IRL obligations. Ain't that the worst of it, Tau? Ain't that the worst of it? It is money obligations, work obligations, friend obligations, family obligations. And so the goal here is hopefully we can build Site-42 to a point where that financial obligation can ease the job obligation, which at least gives people the opportunity to do it for work. Now, we don't want to take you away from your family and friends, although that would make it easier to get the films done. If I could isolate you from your family and friends in some sort of filmmaking cult, perhaps we could try that in the future, but seems a little sketchy. There's already too many cults running around. Not a fan. Oh, I need to refresh the chat. We're having some glitches here. Are we back? We're back. Excellent. Arseds, thank you for your first donation to today's stream. Make sure to get yourself some kettle corn on your way past the commissary. My favorite SCP is SCP-4966. Do you know that one? Well, database number alone, no. But let's see if I remember the anomaly, if not the database entry. 4966. Codename Tubioka, Devourer of Souls, Consumer of Secrets, Lord of Munchies. Yes, I do in fact know of Tubioka. 4966 is an anime quadrupedal creature constructed of gray fabric. All attempts to pierce or damage this fabric have failed. X-rays and other examinations of 4966 have shown a lack of any internal structures. 4966's body is completely devoid of markings or orifices, with the exception of 2 black eyes and a woven mouth. Vocalizations made by 4966 are similar to that of a young feline. 4966 is highly social, will become anxious or withdrawn if not socialized with on a normal basis. It has a tendency to imitate the actions of other entities it interacts with, shows no apparent need to eat, drink, or breathe, although it will imitate these actions if another entity is doing the same. When presented with the corpse of an organism, 4966 will extend its mouth through unknown means and consume the corpse in its entirety, causing its body to bulge and stretch around the added mass. All attempts to measure the tensile strength of 4966 will in this state have failed, and 4966's skin will remain visibly the same density throughout the process. No limit has been found to the degree of what 4966 is able to distend. With it having completely enveloped the corpse of an adult blue whale, of course we used a blue whale during testing. Of course we did. Once the corpse is fully enveloped, 4966's body will slowly return to its normal size. During this deflation, 4966 will experience alterations in its morphology consistent with the physical characteristics of the organism it consumed. The most common alteration is the addition and modification of limbs, although other alterations such as changes in 496's proportions and vocalizations have been recorded. The only physical traits of 4966 that are unable to be altered are its existing facial features and gray coloration. Alterations will remain for approximately 4 hours after consumption, after which 4966 will regurgitate biological waste consistent with the composition of the consumed organism. And so it is a plush Kirby. And when it ate a person, it learned to talk, and it started acting as if it had the memories of the D class that it ate. So, yeah. Read more about 4966. That shit gets crazy. Not a bad favorite, Arsens. Not a bad favorite. Phantom Reactor, thank you for your 5 months as a level 1 researcher. We appreciate your membership and your service. Today's my birthday. Well, happy birthday to you, Phantom Reactor. Grab yourself a cupcake from the break room. Package, thank you for your first donation to today's stream. Grab yourself a smoothie on your way past the commissary. Urban Shade revives their staff from literal hell. Wow. Perhaps we can share some inter-organizational intelligence, because it would be very nice to be able to save on staffing that way. Huh. How rare are humanoid reality benders at the Foundation? Intern Venom Man. Reality benders as a whole are a fairly rare class of anomaly. Now, we have humanoid anomalies in all shapes and sizes, but usually they only have one power, like an X-Man. It is rare to find reality benders such as SCP-343, SCP-3812, and a couple others. Let's see, I do believe we have a tag for this, though. If I go to the tag section and down to the R's. So reminder to newer SCP Foundation staff, on every database entry, starting at Tubioka again, we go to the bottom and we see the tags, which tell you what kind of things are involved in this anomaly. So chaos insurgency, empathic, memetic, metamorphic, knowledge, etc. So if I click on the tags, it pulls me and it shows me every anomaly that is tagged with that. So the amount of tags of this particular kind is 361. But below that, you also have the tag cloud, which lists every tag on the database, some of them being larger because they have more entries under them. And if we come down to researcher, reptile, redirect, reality bending, there are currently 619 anomalies on the database tagged as reality bending. Now, those might be SCPs, they might be tails, that could be a lot of different kinds of things. But 619 pages on the database are tagged as reality bending. Some of those might be objects, some of those might be people. But we can go even further. We can go even further because the SCP database has an updated search function. Oh, this should be good. This should be good. So we go to the SCP homepage, and in the top right corner, you'll see search. It's right under your username if you're logged in. Once you search, you can search by keywords like any other search, but filter by tags. So I can put in reality bending and humanoid and just let her rip. So now we have SCP-7000, SCP-343, SCP-3812, 239, 3740, 5002, 2599, 5004, 55... Oh, god damn it! Ugh! 2786. And it goes on. And it goes on. Let's keep going. Time perverts here. Cameron the Crusader. Death of the Creator. Nope, don't go there. Oh, that was the ACAB anomaly. The Greek woman who turns cops into pigs and then serves them up barbecue style. Alright, I went to the gym this morning, and my arm is getting tired from holding up this phone. So just assuming it's a lot. And right now, you can put those tags in and you can go through the whole list. Wait, we weren't always able to use more than one tag. Well, Legendary Doge, there was a point where you couldn't search by tags like that at all. And now, filtering those tags, I can also add a keyword, like God. And now, only the SCPs with those two tags and the word God come up. And so you can narrow it by tags and keywords, which is very confusing. Oh! And up in the corner here, 136 pages found. That's so much easier. I didn't even know that was there. Let's see what happens if I delete the word God. Show me. Show me. 250 pages are tagged with both reality bending and humanoid. So, I love that functionality. I'm going to be using that a lot more now that I know that it tells you how many pages were found in total. Sweetness. Alright, so I hope you enjoyed this rundown on how to search for things on the SCP database. Utilize it to your content. Give me 1 second. My browser is doing something silly. Get out of here. No one's talking to you. Arseds, thank you for donating again to ask, what is your opinion about SCP-053? SCP-053, you mean the child that everyone wants to murder? Codename Young Girl? I think my answer is, it's tragic that everyone wants to murder this child for some reason. But also, if I go hang out with it, then I'll want to kill it too, the mimetic effect. So, yeah, ¿por qué no los dos? Codename Tiger J9. Thank you for subscribing to Site 42. We appreciate your membership. Welcome to staff, I mean. Furthermore, just a fun fact I want to show you. They aren't sponsoring today's stream, but they will be sponsoring more soon. Friends of the channel Escape from Site 19, the SCP board game, did the photograph for this anomaly for the cards in their board game. And then when the SCP database was replacing images for Creative Commons purposes, Escape from Site 19 let them use a bunch of their photos. And so this is one they took specifically for the board game, and now it's the official photo, and it looks damn fire. It looks damn fire. Thank you, Escape from Site 19, for both not using AI and sharing your excellent games with the community. Where's the chat? There's the chat. I'm back. Is SCP real? Intern Saminsky. The answer to that question is a large, emphatic no. The SCP Wiki is a creative writing community and fandom, and thanks to the Slender Man stabbing 10 years ago, we do not pretend to be real. If anyone asks, we drop kayfabe. No. SCP is a fun, creative writing community and fandom. It's a good time. We're all enjoying ourselves in role-playing and acting, just like any other fandom. Have you played the card game SCP Escape? Yes, Intern Buck, I have played that game. It is a very fun game. Actually, for a quick round, it is quite fun to pull out that game. Hashtag not sponsored. We have a card game. Intern Deltafell. Yes, the SCP Escape card game, I believe was created by Newscaper Pro. Newscape Studios, yeah. SCP Escape the card game by Newscape Studios. Although the website seems to not be working, maybe they've discontinued it. But yes, the SCP Escape card game by Newscape Studios is it active? Can you still get it? Visit site. When I go to the site, it doesn't load. So I'm wondering if the website is broken or if they discontinued it or something. But it was a fun little card game. I enjoy my copy at parties now time to time. Hey Doc, how do we keep the veil after the US was lost to the marks? 369 Destroyer, through intense disinformation cover-ups. Right now, the general public doesn't know about the cities that were lost to the marks. In fact, thankfully, the United States government, being absolutely terrible and doing these crazy insurrection-inducing raids on their cities, is a great cover-up for a horde of Markipliers taking over the city. I hate that they're doing it. Fuck ICE. But at least it's helping us cover up our own disasters. Things are great here at the UIU. We have infinite donuts. No, Master of Salt, do not eat the donuts. No, no, you do not. Oh, that's a bad idea. That's a bad idea. You must not be familiar with SCP. SCP-5740, codename All Cops Are Buddy by Dado. SCP-5740, codename All Cops Are Dado, our buddy by Dado, is an anomalous pop-up restaurant that serves, it's a vending machine restaurant pop-up that serves donuts. If you are a civilian, you will get a glazed donut. If you are a healthcare worker, you will get a donut with chocolate frosting and a bottle of Gatorade. If you're a firefighter, you will get a donut with red frosting and blue water droplet sprinkles. If you're a National Guard, you'll get a cake donut with the word behave written across it in red frosting. And if you are law enforcement, you get SCP-5740-A. 5740-A, once consumed, 4 to 6 hours later, the affected individuals experience stomach discomfort and bloating, followed by extreme diarrhea. Immediately afterwards, the subject will begin to excrete a domesticated pig from their rectum. How this non-anomalous pig manifests within the subject's bowels is currently poorly understood. So, do not eat the donuts, UIU agent. As a member of law enforcement of the federal government, you will have a bad time. Coming back to chat. If you could make any fictional character real, who would you choose? Mine is an alien called Zedia. I have a hard time spelling her name, lol. She's from the book Down to Earth. Intern Loader Lover. If I were to pick any fictional character to bring to life, to be real, my answer is boring, but it would be Superman. The most powerful godlike guy, uncorruptible morality, always doing the right thing, helping the little guy. Listen, just put the superhero in the bag, dog. By the way, Site42 staff, we are currently 1 hour in today's stream as a time check. We have 30 minutes remaining, so get your questions in. My college has banned the talk of ICE. I was so floored, and how dare they stop us from talking about it. Listen, I cannot speak to the administrations of colleges, many of which have lines of funding with the government that make them capitulate. Singing Steel, thank you for your first donation to today's stream as well as being a member. It's been a while. I hope you've been doing okay. Grab yourself a chimichanga on your way past the commissary. Dr. Sherman, I have some bad news. That Anomalous AI has managed to break the Twitch hype train record twice in a row. They're becoming more powerful. We need to step in. All right, forward this to the Artificial Intelligence Applications Division, and I'm sure they have some bots that can cause some Mary Hobb problems with that anomalous streamer. You are a bot. No, Intern Maynard, although I may be a tune, according to chat. I'm not sure. My cat judges you for some reason. She's 10-year-old, I don't know, man. Intern Rosehill, cats judge everybody. That is what they do. We love them regardless. TBN Riego, thank you for your first donation to today's stream, as well as being a newly minted member from yesterday. Make sure to grab yourself some fajitas on your way past the commissary. Just a thought, if you had to fight a Keter class SCP, who or what would you fight? If I had to fight a Keter entity, let me go into the database. I'm going to pull up the list of Keters. And by list of Keters, I mean just like I showed you before, I'm going to the tag cloud, and I am going to click on the tag for Keter, and then scroll through and see who I recognize for Mortal Kombat. Keter. So, anomalies that I'm familiar with in the Keter category that I would be willing to do combat with. Now, just so you guys know, there are a total of 1,860 entities tagged as Keter on the database, just shy of 20% of the anomalies tagged with the SCP tag. But as I was saying, Alright, slow down. Wikidot, don't crash on me now. Keter entities that I would appreciate trying to do battle with. Wow, that's a lot of Keters in the 2000s. Let me just double check this. I'm going to say SCP-2700-EX is a Keter anomaly. It is cancer. And I would love to do research to fight cancer, or at least fund research to fight cancer through my site directorship here at the Foundation. So yes, we're fighting cancer. Perfect. Nailed it. Keter Cancer. SCP-2700-EX. Okay, that is a joke because 2700-EX is a fraudulent anomaly. It isn't actually cancer. That was a lie by Dr. Harold Perry to try and get us to cure cancer to save his wife, which we did not do because that's not what we do here at the Foundation. So let me continue through the 2000s and see if there is another Keter entity that we are willing to do Mortal Kombat with. Do I want to get in a fight with... See, I'm skipping a lot of entities that I believe would be Keter but are tagged incorrectly. Like, I would fight SCP-507, the Reluctant Dimension Hopper, which is Keter, because it can teleport out of containment at any time and we can't stop it. But for some reason back in the day, they just thought, oh, it's an anomaly that's not going to kill us, it's safe. Which is not what safe means in the database. So many anomalies tag Keter. No, I don't want to fight 5886 because Jim Biggio is the Flash and would be way too fast to even perceive. I would lose that fight very quickly. You know what? I will fistfight SCP-4666, codename the Yule Man. It's an old guy, old naked guy, spindly, no muscle on him. Yes, it can teleport, but it mostly kills children. It's not ready to be punched in the face by an awake person. So, yes, if I were asleep and it murdered me in my sleep like it does all the time, it has the advantage. But if I'm awake, I would punch that fucker in the face. There we go. 4666, that's who I'm going to fight. I would bet that that entity cannot handle a square off. That's why it murders people in their sleep. Like a bitch! Oh yeah, put up your dukes, Yule Man. Let's go. We found a moronic reality bender who is also a 002-1-J. Oh no. Oh no, not that. Oh. So we finally found a use for all that useless titanium other staff members ordered. Yeah, but what is it going to do with the titanium? What is it going to make, and how is it going to bother us? Because it's not well made. Hey, Dr. Sherman, my friend gave me this, quote, gender bend crystal and wants me to use it on an SCP called the Plague Doctor or something like that. I just want to make sure that was okay with you first. Intern Kavogue. The answer to your question is, why does your friend have the gender bending stone SCP-113 in the first place? SCP-049, the Plague Doctor, has open access to the gender bending stone whenever they like, as long as they uphold their side of our deal and help the Mobile Task Force bringing in errant anomalies. So, why do you need to facilitate this in the first place? Have you ever met D9341? No, Intern Sebastian, but I have heard tale of its absurd luck getting out of that containment breach. Crazy luck. On par with the luck anomaly, SCP database. SCP-7500, codename Luck of the Irish, is a senior Australian male of Irish heritage with the ability to subconsciously manipulate probability. And so, that is quite lucky, and it sounds like D9341 might be in the same boat. $7,500's a friendly chap. You should go meet with 7,500 if you haven't. Hey, Dr. Sherman, I watch YouTube and I've seen SCP-096 pictures a lot because people like to troll. It's been a while and I'm still alive. Why? Well, intern fishing for life, that's because the pictures that people are using online are fake. They are artistic representations, and it is well documented in the SCP-096 document that artistic representations do not activate SCP-096. That means that you are fine to look at it. And those artistic representations exist because we sent a D class with a talent for art down in a diving bell far, far below the surface of the ocean to have the time to look at a photo of 096, sketch a likeness before getting got. So we have that photo, or we have that drawing, which we can use to know what 096 looks like despite not looking at an actual photo, which activates 096. So that's why you haven't looked at the real photo. Wait, if witchcraft is anomalous, as you answered in the last stream, then are people who practice witchcraft anomalous? I think there was a mobile task force that performs rituals or something. So, witchcraft and general thaumaturgy are schools of magic that can be learned rather than an inherent anomalous status. So if you are familiar with the language of magic, you can perform it despite being non-anomalous yourself. Dr. Sherman, what are your thoughts about Dr. Wondertainment, and what does the SCP Foundation plan to do about it? Well, intern detective, any anomaly that makes more anomalies is very high on my shit list. Every time it makes a new one, that's another thing we have to contain, do paperwork on, put resources into how to lock it down if it's difficult to contain. It's very frustrating. I am very frustrated with Dr. Wondertainment. Are we cool yet? Gamers Against Weed, Anderson Robotics, Prometheus Labs. If you make anomalies, I'm very cross with you. Have you ever played Subnotica? I have to a point, but I also am deeply afraid of drowning. So it's not exactly a fun experience. By the way, Site 42 staff, we are currently 14 minutes left in stream. 14 minutes left in stream, so get your final questions in. Time is ticking. Does the SCP Foundation know you've been leaking all their classified documents? That is a silly question, Intern Braden, but it's probably because you are possibly amnesticized and just waking up now. So, no, we're not releasing SCP Foundation intelligence to the public. This is a private stream through negotiations of the algorithm with Google's parent company, Alphabet, who is the parent company of YouTube as well. And we only stream to SCP Foundation staff members. So if you're in the stream, obviously you are either a staff member in good standing with the Foundation, you might be an amnesticized agent who is just waking up and needs to be re-educated, you might be a double agent working with another group of interest, in which case don't get caught watching us. You might be a double agent who has just been awakened, and if that's the case, your dossier is underneath your chair, and good luck on your future mission. And welcome back, Agent. And of course, in Broken Masquerade universes where the public knows about the anomalies, then I am broadcast there to the civilian public to assuage their fears regarding our work here at the Foundation, where we always save the day and do a great job. We're the good guys, for sure. Why was I assigned to listen to an old Tupac album? Because 369 Destroyer, obviously it is your turn to listen to SCP, what is it, 2137? And take notes of what the ghost of Tupac, as it claims to be, says about the crimes. That way, we can solve those crimes so the ghost of Tupac doesn't get mad at us and reveal the Foundation to the public in vengeance. VW, thank you for your first donation to today's stream, as well as being a member. Grab yourself a submarine sandwich on your way past the commissary. How would the Foundation view the Templan Institute if it was a group of interest? IRL is just a YouTube channel. But if it was, it would be an organization that explores organizations and conflicts from other universes and posts them. I believe I've heard of this Templan Institute in the past once or twice. And if that is what they do, is merely study and take notes, then we might be on the same side, because I too enjoy keeping anomalies contained as well as documenting them. Investigates alternate worlds. So yes, as long as they're not interfering in our world, and if we can maybe trade information, that could be extremely useful in the long run. And I do see that they have a, they did not yet successfully note the Foundation. So maybe that will come in the future one day. Dr. Sherman, is the staff allowed to perform mitosis during work hours? You need to take that up with your HR representative if you are allowed by Foundation policy to perform mitosis or not. Spot, welcome to Site 42 staff. Thank you for subscribing. Dr. Sherman, I came into a hallway and SCP-096 and 173 are standing right next to each other. What the fuck do I do? Look at 173's feet. 096 is tall. Don't look at its face. Look down. Watch 173's feet without blinking as you move away. It's that easy. Come on, people. Critical thinking skills. I mean, I guess that's what I'm here to teach you. I'm the site director and the instructor. That's why I get paid the mediocre bucks. Hey, Dr. Sherman, could I possibly catch SCP-169 with the biggest possible fishing rod? Intern Dash. What fishing rod are you going to use that is large enough to provide leverage against the Leviathan? Where are you getting this anomalously large fishing rod? Pray tell. Because likely, your answer is no. Hey, wait, so is every deity in any mythology technically an anomaly? Well, Intern Vivian, if they exist, yes. If they don't exist, no. Hey, Dr. Sherman, what are some good SCP songs you know of? Well, I don't know of a whole lot of SCP songs, although I am partial to the Stupendium in general, and that leads me to recommend the song Keter Qualities. Keter Qualities is a Stupendium SCP song. Cool beans. Braden, thank you for your first donation to today's stream. Make sure to get yourself grab yourself a burger and fries combo on your way past the commissary. Hey, Site 42, love the vids and your work for keeping us safe. Well, thank you very much for your appreciation. And what is the best task force, the mobile task force or the NTF? And I stole 999. So you have a small mismatch here. Mobile Task Force stands for Mobile Task Force. It applies to every Mobile Task Force. NTF only applies to a singular Mobile Task Force called the Nine-Tailed Foxes. And so MTF, NTF is what you would call them, because NTF is an MTF. And MTF, NTF is one of the burlier category teams of Mobile Task Forces. They have pretty high-tech and heavy weaponry because they are meant to breach Foundation sites that are in trouble and clean up the mess. So Nine-Tailed Fox is pretty powerful, but there are other Mobile Task Forces that are of a higher rank and skill and weaponry than the NTF. The MTF, NTF. What about the floating hand spider? Intern Vigo, what about the floating hand spider? Do you have a question about it? What do you mean, what about? That's not a question. I don't know what you're asking. It's fine. It's in the super cool petting zoo. If you want to bring in an amethyst. Is it possible to tame SCP-939s? Intern Salt, not to my knowledge, but I wouldn't be surprised. We have not managed to do so yet. Is the floating hand spider edible? Well, Intern Word, it is in fact a biological entity, so maybe? We only have the one of them, though, so it's not as if we want to terminate it to find out. How many SCPs are there, and can you explain the lore to me? Intern Zany, there are currently over 10,000 SCP documents on the SCP database. Now, explain the lore to you, that's what we do in every stream, so come on back. We stream every day here at Site42. Hit the subscription bell so you know when we're going live, because it's at different times every day. Or, if you are old enough to join the Site42 Discord server, you can get the YouTube live alert tag there, and I ping that at the beginning of every stream, so it's a little more reliable than the YouTube. Pancake Dragon, thank you for your first donation to today's stream, and hey, long time no see, hope you've been doing well. Hi, Dr. S. Oh yes, and grab yourself a plate of fried chicken on your way past the commissary. Hi, Dr. S. I haven't caught one of your streams in a while. Well, yes, and good to see you. What do you think of the SCP Animation Channels? They take liberties and get details wrong. Well, that's when I don't like them. I like it when they tell the story how it is. There is adapting something for a new medium and making changes because you have to film it, but the reason that I disliked The Rubber and Detective Void so much is because they got the stories mega wrong, and it was always just oversimplifying them, taking the real theme out of the story, and making things very childish, simplistic. It was never high quality. Dr. Bob and SCP Explained, I feel, do a better job of sticking to the lore, which is why I like them a little bit better. And of course, people like Just Alice here on YouTube, as well as Voidster Animations, who are making SCP animated series of their own, they are top tier artists that we appreciate greatly and support. Make sure you subscribe to Just Alice, Alice with a Y, as well as Voidster Animations, who made the new SCP Site42 animated short we debuted yesterday. Speaking of, since this became a sponsored stream anyways, and we're getting close to the end of stream, one more time, this stream is sponsored by ourselves. Site42 is sponsoring itself, and we're sponsoring SCP animators, such as Voidster Animations, who made a lovely short for us. And so, here is the original short. And here is the duplicate with animation. And so, if you would be so kind, Mobile Task Force Sci-42 codename Signal Boosters, please go to that short that Voidster and I collaborated on, and like it, comment on it, share it, so that the YouTube algorithm feeds it to more people. That way we recoup the investment. We paid Voidster Animations to make that short, and then we can pay them to make another short. And if that recoups its investment, we've invented an infinite money glitch on YouTube that will bring us more SCP films and games and series. So we thank you for your service in helping us to bring glory to the SCP Foundation community. Oh, don't do that. Okay. Escape Goat, thank you for your first donation to today's stream as well as being a member. Grab yourself a nachos and queso on your way past the commissary. I really want an anomalous cookbook on how to best prepare an SCP for dinner. I'm not saying the commissary has a few, and I'm not saying they'll give them to you, but, Brayden, thank you for donating again to say, I hope 682 is doing well, and I stole 999 again. Why would you hope the murder monster that wants to kill us all is doing well? You got something wrong up here, my friend. Also, put 999 back when you're done. You don't have to steal it. It's on the roster of visitation rights. Pimp Demon, thank you for your first donation to today's stream. Grab yourself a banana on your way past the commissary. Dr. Sherman, I choose you. Use Hyper Beam. Hey, I am not a Pokemon, despite the fact of what those wonderful arts that were commissioned from artist Cold Eye shows as a Pokemon evolution of Dr. Sherman's. That was, yes, quite entertaining, but it does not mean that I am the Pokemon. That is not at all what that means. And you should not think these things, for they are silly things to think. What the hell do you mean, subscribe to premium? Get your ass off my screen, Twitter. Boo you. But yes, we commissioned 3 Dr. Sherman arts over the holidays that look very much like Pokemon evolutions of a Dr. Sherman, which is very funny. Popping back to the chat. Pancake Dragon, thank you for donating again to say, I missed the Vulgan's vids. He hasn't posted in a while. Yes, I did know that the Vulgan was on a hiatus of some sort. I do hope he is doing well and comes back refreshed and ready to make more work. Fingers crossed, buddy. Any tips on writing SCPs? I know about the video on the channel, but I'm not just sure how to do it or start with it. I already know what I want to write, but I'm not sure it's worth the effort. Well, I am always on the side of making art, Intern Godzilla, but the key to writing SCPs is first, you got to practice writing stories in general. Writing a story is having a scenario in your head, putting it on paper with characters and conflict and emotional payoffs. And you want to practice writing general stories first, because then the SCP format restricts how you write that story, which makes it a little more difficult to write. So start by writing stories of any kind first, and then work your way up to writing SCPs. That would be my next piece of advice. And take writing classes. Writing is a skill that has to be practiced. It's not just something people have. So take classes on writing, read lots of books and stories, and think of them critically. Use your critical thinking skills to break down, okay, why did they write this paragraph like that? What were they trying to convey? Why would they put this here as a vol? Finally, friend of the channel and your favorite SCP YouTuber's favorite SCP YouTuber, Radiger, has a new series she has just debuted that is breaking down why certain SCP articles on the wiki work. And she is breaking down quite well the writing of these stories. So SCP-5798 analyzed and SCP-4183 analyzed by Radiger on YouTube are highly effective at seeing someone else critically break down an SCP, so you can learn the method to do that yourself. Back to the chat, back to the chat. TBN Riego, thank you for donating again. I'm going to call you TBN. What SCPs would be good at a game of Uno? I would go with SCP-008-J, codenamed Jeff. Very chill anomaly. I'll go with SCP-5175, because at least the person who SCP-5175 is bound to is a pretty chill guy. A little bit of a weeb, but what are you going to do? 507, very chill dude, would be good for Uno. And there's your 4 players, plus you. Good job. Brayden, thank you for donating again to say, Siri told me that it's friendly and I'll put 999 back. Why the hell does Siri have any documentation of SCPs? Perhaps you're talking about Skippy. Skippy, our in-Foundation anomalous artificial intelligence helper. Zenith, thank you for your first donation to today's stream, as well as being a member. Grab yourself a pork pie on your way past the commissary. Sorry to tell you this, Dr. Sherman, but I accidentally left my energy drink while visiting SCP-999, so he's kinda, it's an it. It's a slime. It doesn't even have gender markers. SCP-999 is an it, please. All anomalies are its. They are objects, not people. Please practice proper pronoun parlance protocols at the Foundation. So it's kind of bouncing off the walls now. Well, that's Braden's problem right now, so let Braden handle it. Pimp Demon, thank you for donating again to say. Well, think about it, Dr. Sherman. If SCP-682 is doing bad, especially dead, then we can't keep doing experiments. Also, isn't anything a Pokemon to another being? Well, first of all, 682 is the only anomaly that we are actively trying to destroy. We rarely do that, but 682 is the exception. We are trying to kill it. That is what we are doing. That anomaly needs to die. It's on the docket. Secondarily, isn't anything a Pokemon to another being? I do not know what you mean by that, and I'm a little scared to ask. No, not everything is a Pokemon to another being. Some things are animals, or plants, or objects. Intern Frankie, welcome to Site42 staff. Thank you for subscribing. Darn, you've called 999 him before. Sorry, let me correct myself. It is going crazy and send help. Again, that's Braden's problem, and yes, even I am not perfect, and I correct myself to itsing the anomalies when I slip up. And you can call it a goo boy as long as the boy has an I on the end, so it's a slang term. Just like SCP-5320 is the longest boy. It doesn't mean gender, it just means boy with an I. Very different. Alright, double checking my notifications here. Site42 staff, congratulations. We are at the end of today's stream. Wait a minute, what? No, okay. Yes, we are at the end of today's stream. Timing-wise, this coffee break has ended, and as always at the end of stream, I tell you guys my favorite SCPs. It is a bit of a tradition around these parts. Now, I'm not going to tell you the SCPs I personally wrote are my favorites. That would be cheating. That would be narcissism. But if you want to read the SCPs I personally wrote, you can go to the Sherm's author page in Site42 Hub at the SCP database. There you can read the SCPs I personally wrote, as well as contributed voice lines or sound effects to. You'll find that link inside of the pinned support link. The support link, beacons.ai/site42, is where we store all of our social medias, my author page, some shops that we support for the SCP community or work with ourselves for our own merch, as well as any sponsors we may have going on. So keep beacons.ai/site42 in your heads for that. Speaking of links, if you go to my author page, besides seeing the SCPs I wrote, there is a separate tab with some specialized links. Some links that people are always looking for, but they just don't know to look there. They're not clever enough to hear me giving this hint to where to look. But not you guys, Mobile Task Force Site42. You guys are determined enough and clever enough to find those links. And while you're at those links, you could do a Patreon subscription or a YouTube channel membership to support us monthly. Or you could do Ko-Fi memberships or YouTube Super Chats to donate to us one at a time. Either way, we appreciate your direct donations. They are the quickest way to help Site42 keep its lights on for myself, our staff, and the SCP content creators I support, like Voidster Animations and other groups that we're trying to help bolster into making SCP projects. So we thank you greatly for your financial help. Furthermore, if you are part of the Broke Gang and you can't donate, trust me, we get it. Starving artists are a part of the SCP community. It's an arts community after all. But if you are liking, sharing, subscribing, commenting, chatting, not only on our works, not only on the video I told you to comment on, that way we can boost the algorithm for it, but on the videos and comments and games of SCP projects we support, the other SCP channels, the game devs and all that, then you are an honored and valued member of Mobile Task Force Sci-42, codenamed the Signal Boosters. And it's because of your service that we are able to support the SCP Wiki and its authors, artists, animators, game devs, filmmakers, merch makers, etc. So we greatly thank you, Mobile Task Force Sci-42, codenamed Signal Boosters, for being the engagement side of the team. Every D&D party needs both sides. You need the money side, and you need the engagement side for that. You can't have a team of all money people are all engagement people. So thank you guys for your service, all of you, for helping us to uplift the SCP community to even further heights. Before my favorite SCPs, there was one more last-minute dono. A Scapegoat, thank you for donating again to say, oh good, I want to test what the similarity there are between 096 and 106 in taste. Thinking we should start with soup. Listen, we all know that Radical Larry tastes like barbecue sauce. You don't need to test that, okay? 096, maybe, but come on. All right, my favorite SCPs in no particular order are SCP-3999, SCP-3043, SCP-008-J, SCP-Spooky-J, SCP-5031, SCP-5175, SCP-5320, and SCP-8980. Content warning on that last one. It is a really rough read. Speed round. 3999-3043-008-J, Spooky-J, 5031-5175-508980. Content warning on the last one. It's a rough read. TBN, thank you for donating one more time to say Secure, Contain, Protect, Overseer. We appreciate you stopping by and your generosity. And so, Site 42 staff, this has been another coffee break with Dr. Sherman, a subsidiary of the anomalous broadcast from Site 42. I hope you had fun. I hope you learned something. Be safe, be well, and as always, secure, contain, protect. I'll see you in the next video or stream. People listen attentively, I mean about future calamity. I used to think the idea was obsolete until I heard the old man stamping his feet. This is a place where eternally fire is applied to the body. Teeth are extruded and bones are ground and baked into cakes which are passed around. In the afterlife, you could be headed for the serious strife. Now you make the scene all day, but tomorrow there'll be hell to pay. The credit song is Hell by the Squirrel Nut Zippers. Be safe, be well, Site 42 staff. Secure, contain, protect.